Vibro, a type of Beat Saber challenge gameplay that originated all the way back in 2018 with Banana Chop Fin's adaptation of Osu Mania Vibro inside of the VR world. Typical patterns normally don't exceed BPMs of 350, but Vibro pushes this boundary. It began as a simple few 10 above the hard limit of ranked maps, but soon began to increase. 400, 500, and 600 with Architect, which is once an incredible feat to pass. Move forward a few years and you begin to see people hitting 700, and in the past few months, even 800. Very few people have gotten to this point, but perhaps you have heard of Person. Person is a supposed top speed player, capable of hitting patterns even beyond 800 BPM, but clearly this just is not possible. Notes begin to merge together, and the human body is not capable of moving so quickly, let alone while holding controllers. Today we will be taking a deep dive into the illegitimacy of Person's passes by looking into one of his most infamous passes, 804. The way that this will work is as follows. I will play the video, and once something strange appears, like cheese, gameplay will be paused and then analyzed as to why it is not legitimate. As you can see, when the vibro starts, Person lags behind the notes a bit, but this is an acceptable amount that we can pass by. So right here, there's a bad cut. If you know enough about Beat Saber, you also know that bad cuts are caused by either swinging in the wrong direction by hitting the wrong color. Clearly, no wrong color was hit here, as you can see in the frame shown. So the only other possibility is that he hit it in the wrong direction, which can be caused by being either too slow or too fast. What else can be caused by that? Cheese. Notice the notification each time you bad cuts from now on, or in other words, whenever he cheeses. Warning, this next section is worrying. Take a look. Now just look at that. The amount of bad cuts is insane. Now, let's replay it, get a better analysis, and see how bad it really is. As you all can see, there's simply no possible way for something this bad to be legitimate. So, after that, why don't we see what our other sources think? Now, before getting into the interviews, unfortunately, some of the interviewees were unavailable to show, as well as an old friend who had fought for this cause. Our first interviewee who was unable to show was Spooky Beard, and we will read some of his words of wisdom about Person's illegitimacy here. Sorry, but if you look closely at the fucking atomic level, you can notice that one of the hydrogen atoms is actually slightly behind the red saber for Planck's length at 12 Kelvin. Coming to a thesis after being provided this evidence, I have thoroughly concluded that you did in fact cheese. Edit. Don't sweat at my sugar plum. Not everyone is perfect. Now we have two other sources here, one being clearly cheesed. As you can see, he labeled all the times that something wrong happened. And on the right, we have Sinosin's interview. Feel free to pause that if you would like to read it. I believe it shows a lot about who Person really is. To finish off the exposition of Person, two video clips to show you. One where I ask a close friend of his what he thinks about person, how he's been acting the past year on the topic of cheesing, and the final is an interrogation of the man himself. It's shocking. Okay. May I ask you a few questions about person Beat Saber?
No, I do not mind you asking me a few questions about person Beat Saber.
Alright, so before I go on about the questions, I would like to show you a clip that I found.
Sure, go on ahead.
This is a 804 pass.
Uh-huh.
So, right here, it's a very difficult part of the map. I don't think it's possible, but clearly, person, quote-unquote, passed it. Take a nice look at this.
Uh-huh. What the f*** is this?
Look, you notice how many bad cuts are there?
Yes, there's so many.
Like, can't be possible that he legitimately did that. Like, over the past year, I'm sure you've seen some of his plays, you know, have a party time, dumbfounded. What have you noticed about the patterns of him cheesing? Have they gotten worse? Have they gotten better?
They haven't gone progressively worse. He's been top cheesing everything.
And do you think that he could be forgiven for this?
No, not even the slightest.
Alright, thank you. Thank you. That is all I need for today. I appreciate your time.
No problem.
Good morning, person Beat Saber. Would you mind if I asked you a few questions?
Yeah, sure, what's up?
So, I'm sure you've heard the allegations of you cheesing every single one of your passes, right?
Oh boy, have I.
Yes. Well, what do you have to say about them?
I have to say that I think it's preposterous what they're saying, you know? Top cheesing, I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. I mean, I can lower the sabers if need be. 860 and 880, I mean, come on, what are we, in math class? That's ridiculous. But then at the worst of all, swinging too small, I mean, what do you want me to do, swing bug?
Well, clearly, you're spewing bullshit right now, and I want to know, will you ever redeem yourself for what you've done? Ever since I got no time, clearly all of your passes have been illegitimate. You've been doing nothing but hitting them wrong. Will you redeem yourself in these next coming weeks?
I mean, how could I redeem myself? What else could I do to prove?
Nothing. There's nothing there. Have a wonderful night, man.
What? That's bullshit.